Auckland, New Zealand. Just outside a shipping yard, a terrifying attack is underway. Armed with a hammer, an angry driver viciously beats trucker Barry Fletcher for honking at him moments earlier.
As soon as I looked out, I saw this guy standing there. He had turned the hammer around, and the claw of the hammer went in through my leg. I can remember it hitting the bone. It was just a bloody nightmare.
The madman hammers Fletcher senseless, then leaves him for dead.
I can remember, I think I fell to the ground, and that was pretty much the last I remember of that.
The hammer assault leaves Fletcher with several bruises and broken bones. But justice will be served. The marauder turns himself in and is sentenced to 3.5 years in jail.
This guy was just uncontrollable. There was going to be no negotiation, nothing that could be done. It was a very close call for me. I nearly died that night.
In Atlanta, Georgia, a man walks into a convenience store and asks for some smokes. When the employee turns away, he rifles through his pockets. But it's not cash he's searching for. He hands the clerk a note. The message is simple: hand over the money or be killed. And the crook claims to have the firepower to back the threat. Fearing for his life, the cashier cleans out the drawer for a haul of $471. But the thief has to rub it in. He suddenly reveals that he never had a gun. It's an audacious move, one he will soon regret. The clerk calls for help. The robber starts running, but the man in the red shirt is hot on his heels. A selfless patron chases the man down. Then, with help from the worker, he wrestles the swindler back inside. They take him down and hold him until police arrive. Gregory Scott Cohen subsequently pleads guilty to felony robbery charges and is sentenced to 2 years behind bars. This cocky crook thought he pulled a fast one, but in his arrogance, he forgot one thing. An attack on a fellow citizen can go both ways. Bradenton, Florida. Inside a local bank, a security camera captures convicted felon David Sovey at a teller window. The bank's about to be robbed, but not by him. It's the next customer in shades and a hat who's scheming to pull a heist.
He walked up to the teller lady, picked something out of his pocket, handed it to her.
David's criminal intuition spots trouble.
And I said, yeah, I think this guy's gonna rob the bank.
What this crook didn't count on was an ex-con who's now on the right side of the law.
I just jumped on him. He wasn't expecting it. He was not expecting it.
David takes the man down, then makes sure he hasn't committed a serious blunder.
I called out to the teller, I said, hey, did he rob you? And the lady said, yeah.
The robber muscles his way back to his feet. David hangs on and drops him again, wrapping him in a clinch. He soon realizes he might be fighting for his very life.
He keeps on reaching for something in his waist, telling me he's gonna shoot me and kill me.
As the bandit struggles, money scatters across the floor. David still holds tight.
The only thing that mattered to me was life, and I was wanting to stay alive, so I wrapped him up.
After an agonizing 5 minutes, police arrive. They quickly cuff the suspect and give a thank you to the exhausted vigilante. It turns out there is no weapon, just a punk who nearly got away with $3,000. He's now facing several years in jail thanks to a former criminal who risked his life to fight crime.
Felt good to be noticed for doing something right.
Houston, Texas. Police pursue a suspect in a 100-mile-an-hour freeway chase. He's been on the run for almost 2 hours, and cops still can't stop him. Diana McShann Claiborne hears the news on the car radio. She's riding with her mother and 9-month-old daughter.
He makes a comment and says, this guy's gonna be driving until he runs out of gas. And so I turn to my mom and I go, no, he's not gonna drive until he runs out of gas. He's gonna drive until he hits somebody.
Diana has no idea how right she is. Suddenly, the suspect screeches to a stop. He wheels around and speeds the wrong way down a freeway on-ramp, straight for Diana. Diana is out of the car in a flash. She wants to throttle the fugitive.
I screamed something to him to the effect of, you could have killed my baby. It never occurred to me that he might have a weapon.
Diana's mother watches from inside the car.
I saw Diana jump over the car. I saw her hit the man's window and said, fool, you could have killed my baby.
Diana's got good reason to be enraged. The BMW slams the family car at over 50 miles an hour. Fortunately, the airbags deaden the blow, and Diana's baby girl is belted in her car seat.
I had hit my head, my face had a bruise, my lip was busted, my hand was swollen really bad.
The fugitive clambers out through the sunroof. He's not hurt. Not yet. He's more frightened of Diana than he is of armed police.
When he hit us, he could have killed us. And he got out of the car without a scratch. You know, he's just getting out like nothing ever happened with this nonchalant little attitude, and it wasn't gonna fly.
The reckless suspect is charged with aggravated assault. Diana's baby girl is okay. Her mother is taken to the hospital and recovers quickly. The suspect survives a head-on collision. But he met his match when he came face to face with a mother's wrath.
Suburban Kansas. This professional landscaper has no idea his life is about to change forever. While he's tending to his lawn, 2 armed thieves suddenly storm his property. What happens next is so terrifying that the landscaper still fears for his safety and insists on remaining anonymous.
My whole goal is to get in the house and get safe.
Jeff bolts for his door and locks himself inside. But the attackers won't let him get away so easily.
They wanted to probably shut me up or do something to kind of silence me, and the one guy with the gun apparently, tried to fire at me, and you can see on the video that his gun does jam.
The malfunction saves Jeff's life. But while he hides inside, the brutes ransack his property. Then, through the window, Jeff sees them stealing his truck. At that moment, his anger moves him to action.
I decided to fight back because I wasn't going to stand by and watch them as they tried to maneuver the vehicle and the trailer and my equipment out. That's when I ran and got my gun, and I came out the front door, blazing at them.
The stunned outlaws duck for cover as Jeff opens fire. The bullets come within inches of their faces.
The second they saw me, though, they hit the gas real hard, and you can see them skid out trying to just to get away from me. And I put 2 bullets into the front windshield then.
Jeff shoots to kill, but when he misses, the assailants take aim at him. The driver floors it, steamrolling into Jeff as the desperate homeowner tries to dive out of the way.
All I remember was just standing there, seeing the truck right in front of me, and then the next thing I was on the ground, looking at the truck.
Incredibly, as the pickup jackknifes on Jeff's lawn, he's able to get up and run away. The suspects bail out and flee the scene in their own vehicle, empty-handed and scared for their lives. The fugitives remain at large, but Jeff's bullet-riddled truck is evidence of how close they came to the ultimate payback.
I consider myself extremely lucky that I wasn't hurt any worse than just a couple cuts and bruises and not killed that day. I feel I'm a very, very, very lucky person.
When would-be robbers threatened his life, this fearless man fought back with hot lead. But for his show of force, this landscaper nearly got mowed down. Castilla, California.
We're hearing from CHP that this started as a traffic stop for an unsafe lane change.
An early morning commute on I-5 is disrupted by a dangerous driver's run from the law.
You got speeds of about 90 right now.
But one fed-up motorist is going to put this menace in his place. The suspect blazes past big rigs up a notorious mountain pass called the Grapevine. One cruiser races ahead to make sure the path is clear.
Look at that, he goes right by him.
And to set a trap.
And swerving hard to the right. I think they had spikes out there. I don't know if he hit him.
The runner cuts across 3 lanes, dodging officers who are laying out spikes. The car emerges intact.
From here, it looks like he's still got 4 good tires.
Cops stay close, looking for another opportunity. But ironically, the slow-moving truckers are way ahead of them. They send word over their radios about the pursuit, and the news travels up the Grapevine with lightning speed. Suddenly, the bandit hits congestion.
We're slowing down here now. This could be some construction-related traffic.
He searches for an escape route, unaware he's been set up for a civilian takedown.
Oh, almost hits that truck. He's back into the lanes. Now he's cut off. That semi just wedged him in.
A set of 18-wheelers forms a roadblock, and they catch their guy in a crush.
Unbelievable.
Patrolmen surround the vehicle, but the stunned driver offers no resistance.
All right, he's out of the car, and they are taking him into custody.
Authorities later learned that the man, Stephen Burns, ran because he was in a stolen car. He thought the highway would be his road to freedom. But thanks to some diligent truckers, he got a 3-year detour.
Oh, almost hits that truck.
Lakewood, California. Fireworks explode on a suburban street. But it's not the 4th of July. They're coming from the house of Brian Miller, a fireworks collector. It's a dangerous hobby. Brian's frustrated neighbors videotape the illegal spectacle for evidence.
Yeah, cops can't see those. Those are hard to find. Where are they? 20 minutes ago. Oh, 20 minutes ago. We called them 2 weeks ago.
I've heard some as late as 12 midnight, 1 in the morning. It just depends, you know. When he decided he had something new to test.
Mr. Fireworks is more than a nuisance.
Yeah, I'd complained about this guy for 4 years.
Neighbors fear his late-night pyrotechnics could spark fires, endangering their families.
Well, they've got a kid, and they've been bugging too. They've been getting really angry at this guy.
I think I logged about 40 calls over 4 years to the police. Nothing happened. We had officers out here. There were fires where the fire department was out here. Still nothing occurred.
Neighbors know it's only a matter of time until something bad happens. Early this morning, it does.
Boom! That first thud, I tumbled out the bed. Seemed like the whole house just exploded.
Brian's stockpile of fireworks catches fire and explodes. The blast blows off the roof. It knocks his house 3 feet off its foundation. And the damage spreads to nearby homes.
We found twisted shrapnel, metal, a 8-foot gate, wood and the metal framed gate was found in my neighbor's yard, 150, 200 feet away. On my roof, I found a 13-inch TV. You could hear the whistling mortars. You could hear some of the popping and zinging.
The bomb squad is called in to remove another stash of fireworks that didn't go off.
He said that 500 pounds were still left undetonated. So we know that there was at least 500 pounds there.
The disaster may have been triggered by Mr. Fireworks' carelessness.
The reports say that he was smoking while he was working with his large cache of explosives.
Brian Miller is charged with 9 felony counts. He used to think fireworks were a blast. That was before his house was blown away.
Yeah, cops can't see those. We've been telling you guys this for 4 years.
Ferndale, Michigan. Dash cam rolls on a quiet city street. A pedestrian crosses the road, but he's not going to make it to the other side.
Oh my God.
The impact is so violent, his shoes fly over 200 feet. Officer James Tour can't believe his eyes.
I was kind of amazed that, wow, it's like I just seen this guy get run over, and he did a flip in the air, and he landed down on the pavement, and the car just kept going. Didn't even hit the brake lights or anything.
Tour pursues the fleeing driver, while his partner attends to the victim.
Jim's right behind the striking vehicle. Jim's got it?
The hitman doesn't get far.
Turn off the car. Turn off the car. Get on the ground. Get on the ground.
The suspect is taken into custody, but has no idea why.
Ran someone over. Why are they in the road? They were crossing the road. You ran them over.
The driver was intoxicated.
How much did you drink tonight?
He voluntarily submitted to a blood draw.
A couple beers. Yeah. So you had more than a couple.
Total was .178, which is twice the legal limit in the state of Michigan.
The driver, Glenn Schaefer, pleads guilty to DUI and fleeing the scene. Incredibly, the pedestrian only suffers a broken leg. For Schaefer, it's a lucky break, sparing him a murder charge.
Brooklyn, New York. News helicopters converge at a crime scene. Airborne reporters are about to go live to their stations. when suddenly one of the choppers blows a tail rotor. The pilot fights to steady the whirling death trap as it plummets toward residences. It's no use. The three men inside brace for impact. The helicopter slams through a concrete rooftop and breaks apart. Mortar and metal explode in all directions. The scene below switches from a crime investigation to a rescue. But then, an unbelievable sight. The pilot steps out of the cockpit, virtually unharmed. He motions for help, then ducks back in to free his passengers. They too come through with no major trauma. The widespread debris is testament to the raw brutality of the crash. Thankfully, today's top story didn't end with an obituary.
Just follow him back there. The party's back there.
Chandler, Arizona.
Yeah.
It's a festive setting in the lobby of a city building taken over by the Prize Patrol. People have been notified by mail that they've won DVD players. The lucky folks are here to claim their prizes. But the Prize Patrol is really a platoon of cops.
All right, come on in. Good to see you.
And this is a sting operation.
Come on. You have a warrant for your arrest. You've been caught up in the police sting.
What?
You have a warrant for your arrest, ma'am. You're under arrest. No, you're under arrest. Can I go here first? Thank you.
This is a joke.
No, it's not a joke. You are under arrest.
What? What for?
You have a warrant for your arrest. The officer or detective.
I don't understand. Why?
The sting was set up to snare people who had skipped out on drunk driving warrants. But it was expanded to include other suspected lawbreakers.
Did you have a ticket that you had to take care of? Well, they were very long.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it was this. Oh my God. And you guys. Oh my God.
The targets are carted off to a police van.
Yeah.
In all, 24 people wound up the lucky winners of a free trip. To jail.